In every corner of the world, a story waits to be told. Tales of wonder, mystery, and adventure. Welcome to Tales in the Shadows, where every word brings a new world to life. From ancient myths to modern legends, this is your haven for stories that captivate, inspire, and ignite the imagination. Now let the journey begin. I'd always been a skeptic. Stories of mythical creatures, ancient legends, and cryptids made for great campfire tales. But that's all they were to me, stories. As a nature photographer, I've spent most of my life chasing the beauty of the world, from sunrises over mountain ranges to the shimmering auroras of the Arctic. But nothing prepared me for what I encountered that summer night in South Dakota. I'd driven out to the plains just beyond the Badlands to capture a summer thunderstorm. The weather reports promised a good one: lightning, thick clouds, and dramatic skies. Perfect conditions for some jaw-dropping photos. The stretch of land was completely desolate. Not a single car or house for miles. Just the way I liked it. The evening air was heavy, the kind of weight that sits in your chest before a storm hits. The horizon was already painted with towering thunderclouds, their edges lit by the golden hues of the setting sun. I set up my tripod, checked my camera settings, and settled in. The first few bolts of lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the plains in sharp, fleeting brilliance. Each crack of thunder seemed to echo forever, rolling across the land. As I snapped shot after shot, the storm grew stronger. Wind whipped through the tall grass, bending it in waves, and the first drops of rain began to fall. I was in my element, completely focused on capturing the raw power of nature. Then I heard it. At first, I thought it was just the wind, a low, rhythmic whooshing sound, but it didn't match the gusts. It was steady, deliberate. I paused, lowering my camera, and listened. The sound grew louder, and I felt a strange vibration in the air, like a low hum that seemed to resonate in my chest. That's when I saw the shadow. High above, against the backdrop of the stormy sky, a massive, winged shape moved through the clouds. My heart skipped. At first I thought it might be a plane or even a large bird, but as a bolt of lightning split the sky, it was illuminated clearly for just a moment, and that moment was enough. It wasn't a bird, not a normal one anyway. Its wings were enormous, easily spanning twice the length of my truck. Feathers that seemed to shimmer in the storm's light stretched out like living thunderclouds. Its body was powerful, its outlines sharp and defined, and those eyes, piercing yellow, glowing even in the dimness, fixed on me. I stood there, rooted to the spot, unable to process what I was seeing. The creature circled high above me, its wings beating in slow, deliberate motions. With every pass, the wind seemed to pick up, and the storm grew more intense. Instinct kicked in, and I raised my camera, hands shaking. I snapped photo after photo, praying the rain wouldn't ruin the shots. Through the lens, I could see it in detail. Talons that looked like they could crush boulders, feathers rippling like waves, and a beak that curved sharply, glinting in the flashes of lightning. The creature let out a cry, a deafening screech that wasn't just sound, but something more. It felt like thunder itself, rattling in my chest and vibrating through the ground. I stumbled back, almost dropping my camera, and looked up in awe and terror. Then it dove. The massive bird folded its wings slightly and descended, faster than I thought something so large could move. I barely had time to react before it landed with a thunderous crash just yards away. The ground shook under its weight, and its talons dug deep into the earth. Up close, it was even more imposing, its body towering over me. The storm seemed to swirl around it, the rain falling harder and the wind whipping in chaotic bursts. I didn't move. What could I do? Run? Fight? No chance. So I stood there, drenched and shaking, staring into the glowing eyes of a creature that shouldn't exist. Slowly, it tilted its head, as if studying me, trying to decide what I was. I don't know what made me do it, but I raised my hands, palms out, like I was showing I meant no harm. I'm just here to take pictures, I whispered, my voice trembling. The Thunderbird, because what else could it be, let out another cry, lower this time, almost a rumble. Then it spread its wings, each one larger than my entire body, and flapped once. The force knocked me off my feet, sending me sprawling into the wet grass. When I looked up, the creature was already launching itself into the air. It rose effortlessly, its wings beating in perfect rhythm with the storm. Lightning flashed behind it, silhouetting its massive form one last time before it disappeared into the clouds. I lay there for what felt like hours, rain pouring down, thunder rolling in the distance. Eventually the storm began to calm, and I managed to gather myself. My camera was muddy, but miraculously it still worked. Back at my cabin, I reviewed the photos. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the images. Most were blurred, the rain and wind smearing the details. But one, a single perfect shot, showed the Thunderbird in all its glory, wings spread wide, lightning illuminating its majestic form. I sat there staring at the image, my mind racing. I knew what I had seen, but who would believe me? The thought of sharing it made me uneasy. The Thunderbird wasn't just a bird. It was something ancient, powerful, and sacred. I couldn't risk exposing it to the world, so I kept the photo to myself. Even now, years later, it sits in a hidden folder on my computer, a reminder of the night I encountered something beyond explanation. And every time a thunderstorm rolls across the plains, I find myself looking to the sky, wondering if it's still out there, riding the winds and commanding the storms. Somehow, I know it is. Thank you for journeying with us through Stories Untold. We hope these tales have sparked your imagination and ignited your sense of wonder. Until next time, when another world calls, remember, every story is just a shadow waiting to be revealed.